Now, front page of the Telegraph today, extraordinary story. I thought this had all been stopped.
With the
Cass
Cass
something
Review.
called the Cass Review, which was last March, April. A very accomplished paediatrician, Baroness Cass, who effectively said, we've got to stop giving children who think they might be trans, rushing them into treatment, avoiding them having pills that can change their body. And now it seems the NHS is still treating nursery-age children. Nursery-age. These are toddlers who believe they're transgender. Now, they're not giving them any drugs, but the mere idea, why are mum and dad even going along with it?
It's things like a boy that wants to wear dresses and play with dolls.
Let him.
It's things like a girl who wants to kick a football and maybe have her hair short. And the problem is, I think the parents are the ones behind this, obviously. You either say, this is normal and children play around with gender roles as they have done since the beginning of time. You don't march them off to the doctor and get their heads looked at by a psychiatrist. And why are they doing it? Well, because they are reading that it's normal now, they're confused, they lack confidence as parents to say no.
Well, apparently the health service had set a minimum age of 7 for children to be seen by specialist gender clinics. I think that's too young, frankly.
Unbelievable.
Far too young. Claiming anything else less was just too young. But that limit's now been removed after the proposal was put up to consultation. And you know why? Because the wretched trans lobby have lobbied and put pressure on the NHS. So you've now got 3-year-olds being talked to about their gender. For God's sake, what are we doing to our children?
Before the Tavistock clinic was closed, it baffles me, they were seeing 3 new children under 7 every month. That means there are 3 families with children under 7 who thought it was normal to take their child to a clinic for advice on their gender.
I don't like banning anything, but I'm sorry, I think the law's got to be changed. This should be banned.
Any kind of indulgence of any sort of psychological assessment of it?
Of toddlers in particular, and children under the age of 7, it should be banned. It should be against the law.
At GB News, we believe in the power of free speech. We're not afraid to ask the tough questions, challenge the status quo, and give you a voice. While others silence dissent, we champion the truth. So by becoming a GB News member, you're not just supporting free speech, you're defending it. Please do consider supporting us today. Together, we'll hold the powerful to account and make sure your voice is always heard. Simply go to gbnews.com/support and stand with us for what matters most.
Right, so what do we want to talk about, both of you?
Do you want to do the... Well, we can do the trans toddlers if you want.
Can you believe this?
No, I can't believe the story. This is...
Honest to God, I thought after the Cass Review that
this
would
was
bring
going
some
to stop. Yeah.
This would all be... Yeah.
But let's tell people the story first.
Yeah,
the story is that the NHS is treating nursery-age children who believe they are transgender after walking down.
Whose parents think they're transgender.
Yeah, well, and this is the problem, isn't it? So the health service was previously due to set a minimum age of 7, which is still way too young.
Yeah.
Incredibly young.
But now, any age. So if you're a 2-year-old toddler who likes to wear dungarees, presumably you might be at the trans clinic before you know it.
But is that a thick parent? Is it a thick parent who hasn't worked out that it's OK for boys to play with dolls and girls to play with football?
I don't think thick's the word I'd use, just badly misguided.
Well, I was going to ask a genuine question.
When you say a little offensive.
When you say parents who think their kids might be trans, why do we know what the rationale is? Why do they think that?
Because the little boy's playing with a doll?
Yeah, they would be the obvious signs that the children that a girl is showing obvious signs of wanting to play boys' games with whatever. I don't know. But whatever it is not real at 7. It's not real at 4. It's not real at 3.
No, it's not.
No.
It might not be real at 15.
It might not be real at 15.
Quite.
But, the NHS seems to be, infused with this trans ideology. You're messing around with kids' lives here on something that is an ideology and something that is in contravention of biological fact. And you're treating children. I don't know what, in God's name, treating 7-year-olds means. I don't know what it means, whether they're giving them drugs. I don't know what they're doing.
No, they're not. They're not giving them drugs.
Okay. But whatever they're doing, even if they're feeding this idea that they may or may not be trans, it's wrong, age 7.
Well, I totally agree with that, because what I would say is that when you're 16 years old or 15 years old, gender is something that is real, just as separately sexuality is something that is real and that you can feel and have a conception of at that age. It's not when you're 4 years old. You can't. You're not developed enough. Your brain is not developed enough to understand the concept of gender.
It certainly shouldn't be the trigger for access to mental health services, which is what I think this story is about.
Yes.
So you take your child to the GP and you say, you know, Olivia thinks she's Oliver. And then the GP has to say, Olivia, you're not Oliver. Like, somebody has to be honest with the parent and the child, and it feels like they rather than risk upsetting the parent or the child, they set them on the pathway
completely
to psychological.
Yes. So if you have enough psychiatrists telling you probably are trans, well, then you're going to think you are by the time you're 16. And you know, we know a lot of these, even at 16, a lot of these people have other issues, which are not connected to gender. But if you get told they are, if you get told your mental health issue is because you're in the wrong body, and you've been told that at 7, you're going to believe it at 16.
Well, there's an increasing view that some of these children who have these issues, could be to do with autism.
Of course, that's one of the major things. It could be home life, it could be a trauma, it could be anything. And that's the point. We don't know. And yet we're treating these kids aged 3, 4, 5 like they know what
I don't like banning anything, Andy, but I just think this is wicked.
It's abuse.
Wicked.
Yeah, and well, as you said, after
2 and 3 year olds, it's wicked.
I can't believe that anybody thinks it's sensible to be thinking about things in those terms.
In the NHS and think this is a good thing to do.
Well, I wonder whether there's a wider sort of conversation to be had about people reaching too quickly and too much for the mental health lever here. Now, mental health is incredibly important and a real, I think there's a real epidemic of mental health in this country and beyond, not least because of social media. But if you've got a 3 or 4 year old, are they having mental health problems at that age? I'm not sure that's the case. They may have other conditions, absolutely.
They've used the word there, experimenting, and that's exactly what this is. You know, it has echoes of terrible things a long time ago, and you're experimenting with a 3-year-old child who may never recover from your experiment. And we call this is our health service, which is supposed to take care of our health and our well-being, and it's really not in the case.
And I'm sorry, but there's money to be made.
Yes.
Transgender operations are a very lucrative subscription service to drugs for the rest of your life. So these children are vulnerable to people who might want to make money out of them. Right.
At GB News, we believe in the power of free speech. We're not afraid to ask the tough questions, challenge the status quo, and give you a voice. While others silence dissent, we champion the truth. By becoming a GB News member, you're not just supporting free speech, you're defending it. Please consider supporting us today. Together, we'll hold the powerful to account and make sure that your voice is always heard. Simply go to gbnews.com/support and stand with us for what matters most.